Hello, friends. I trust I find you well. I trust you managed to get into the new year 2021 in one piece. 2020 has been a very difficult year for most of us. Some of us, we've lost our loved ones. Some of us are still struggling with the various challenges. The response that the world gave to this so-called pandemic has left us with many challenges. Some lost their jobs. Some are still sick in hospital. And it has been a very difficult time. We are in 2021. What has changed between the last few hours and the time we are in now, which we are now calling 2021? It is very little. In fact, what has changed is actually the way that you view life. If your view of life is still the same, you would remain as though you are still in 2020, whilst others are now in 2021. So I've got a short message that I wanted us to share as we have entered into a new era, into a new period. You know, my view of time is that time is part of a creation, is part of God's creation. And when God creates time, he creates a progression. So we cannot avoid being in a new era. We cannot avoid being in a different time. We cannot avoid being in a new year. So when these new come, they also come with the different things. Those different things, they all depend on you. So this makes me look at a verse that I find in the Bible. I'm not going to preach. I'm going to do my normal video where we talk about personal development. But I'm going to take my talk from a verse that we find in the Bible. It's Romans 12, verse 18. The verse says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with one another. If your Bible is topical, the subheading that is where this verse is found, the subheading is love in action. Now the Apostle Paul is writing to a people who lived in his time and a people who lived in this area called Rome. And he is saying to them, as far as it is possible, right? If it is possible, as long as what is possible also depends on you, live at peace with one another. So he gives two qualifying statements before he actually makes the statement he is trying to make. What Paul is trying to say to these people is that they must live at peace with one another. But before he gets to talking about living at peace with one another, he puts two qualifications. The first qualification is that in order for you to live at peace with one another, there are circumstances that you can contribute yourself towards creating this peace. Then the second thing, he says, it also will depend on you. So, peace is very important. At some time, we are going to talk about personal development and peace, because peace is very important. If you live a peaceful life, if you live in a peaceful environment, you are able to achieve a lot. So this is why the Apostle Paul is encouraging living at peace. Now, peace will not be brought to you by someone else. Peace will not be created by circumstances. You have to play a role in making sure that your environment is peaceful. You have to play a role in making sure that the people that you relate with them at peace. There are things that we have spoken about before in our conversations on personal development. We have mentioned laws that we said guide personal development. These laws that we have talked about, they are universal. Whichever part of the world you are in, they affect you. Whichever nationality you come from, they affect you. Wherever you find yourself surviving in your kind of community, your kind of people that you live with, these laws, they affect you. Now, there are other laws that are not universal, but they are still laws. They guide our personal development. And one of the things that guide our personal development is the ability to live at peace with one another. Now, you can't live at peace with other people if you don't love them. So that's why I said the subtopic where this verse is found, the Apostle Paul calls it love in action. Then as he's talking about love, he talks about love. He talks about the good things about love. Then he talks about the opposite of love. He talks about the bad things of hatred and all those things that are anti-love. Then he says, as far as it is possible, as long as it depends on you, live at peace with one another. Now here is my closing shot. I want to say to you, as we have entered 2021, we are not only looking at peace here, but we are looking at your life in general. We are looking at success. We are looking at your personal development. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, be the driver of your own life. Direct your own success. Achieve those things that you want to achieve because you are pushing and pursuing them yourself. I know that the environment where we want to do things, we don't create it. At times we find the environment there. At times it's difficult to convince other people to have the views that we have. But if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, try and create an environment where you drive the direction of your own life. No one is leading this life for you. No one is going to lie on the ground and be a bridge that you will walk over to get to the other side where your ideals, where your dreams are found. You do that on your own. As far as it is possible, make sacrifices. As far as it is possible, choose the right friends. As long as it depends on you, create an environment that is going to lead you to living a successful life. You know, the other thing that I also want to focus on, maybe to touch on a bit, because I said we are now closing this talk, is that when the Apostle Paul is writing these words to these people, he is writing at the time where Christianity is at its inception. He is writing when they have just been nicknamed Christians. Remember, these people were not just called Christians because Christianity was a religion that was formed, laws put, guidelines put, and people started worshiping in a Christian manner. No, these people were actually nicknamed Christians because they were being scoffed at, they were being laughed at for following something that everyone thought was insane. It was viewed as insanity to follow the teachings that Apostle Paul and the others were teaching at that time. And Paul is saying, people are opposing you. The Roman Empire, which was ruling at that time, is unfriendly to this Christian belief that we are bringing about. And remember, also Paul was Saul before. He was an agent of the Roman government who was persecuting Christians. Now he is saying the government of the day is persecuting you who have chosen to be Christians. But as far as it depends on you, if it is possible, live at peace with your persecutors. My other parting shot says, if anyone tells you that Christianity is a violent religion, Christians are intolerant people, tell them that they are lying. The father of Christianity, Paul, who is regarded as one of the authorities in this Christian movement, he preaches peace. He used to be violent and he left that violence for Christianity. So anyone who tells you that Christianity is violent, Christians are intolerant, they don't understand Christianity. They are using bad apples to define Christianity, which is actually wrong. If you want to be a Christian, Paul, who writes so many books, who has so much to say about Christianity, says, live at peace with one another. 2021 is here. Very difficult time. almost similar to the time of the inception of Christianity. Because what we find in 2021 is that we have this pandemic which is out there, and anyone who brings a different view to the popular view about this pandemic is called names, is labeled, is called a conspiracy theorist, is even outlawed. There are laws now that want to put blinkers on us so that we view this thing one way only, straight jacket kind of a view to this pandemic, something that is very strange, because science doesn't need a straight jacket. Science is science. You take something, you put it in a controlled environment, study it, and agree that this is how this thing operates, this is how this functions. But we are finding science now not being guided by what has been proven from being put in a controlled environment and studied, but we are finding science needing laws to make it a science. Strange era we are living in, despite the fact that we are living in this strange era. As far as it is possible, as long as it depends on you, live at peace with those who hold different views from yours. When you live at peace with them, you are going to succeed in whatever it is that you are going to be chasing. One of the topics we'll look at greatly in 2021 is personal development and peace, personal development and love. Remember, we said 2021, we are getting into your studio. We are looking at personal development and those things that affect you as an individual, and not a universal approach of personal development as we focused on it in 2020. So I wish you a prosperous new year. I wish you all the success. I wish you all the best. But as far as it depends on you, if it is possible, live at peace with one another. Control the direction of your own development. Don't let circumstances and your environment control you. The future is in your hands. Grab it, take hold of it, control how you're going to be leading your life. See you in the next offering, where we will be pursuing this topic. Our theme for 2021 on personal development is going to be, if it depends on you, as far as it is possible.